Come and join us as we give a tour of this amazing little farm. These are one of the biggest importers of these pigs in South Carolina, and they are only growing. So come and learn.
What's going on, guys? My name's Evan Streeter. Streeter Heritage Farms. I'm a 24-year-old first-generation hog farmer here in Blackstock, South Carolina.
All right, so tell me about your operation.
So we kind of have two operations in one, both surrounding the pigs. So we have a farrow to wean operation, which is where we farrow piglets and we supply farms primarily throughout the southeast, though we've sold pigs all over the country for them to raise out either on their homestead or on their farm to butcher and sell the meat.
So how much do you sell, on average, each piglet for?
It varies. So these are red wattle pigs here, primarily red wattles are what you're looking at here. There's some Yorkshires running around, but the base price is about $120, and then it'll kind of go down from there with quantities, and then really every pig I sell, it's kind of individuals. You know, if you're coming to me and wanting 200 pigs, we're going to work out a different deal than if you're coming to me and wanting 2 pigs for your homestead.
How do you feed them? Water them? What do you feed them? What's your setup like?
Obviously, we just moved these pigs in here yesterday, actually, and it looked like that the day before yesterday. So you can see all that wheat that's coming up in there. They come down here and eat a lot of that. So grass, what they can get from forage, but we feed a commercial feed. Soybean meal and corn is primarily what it consists of. That's a standard hog feed ration. We feed 18% protein. That's just kind of what's easiest for us. We only got one feed bin, and that's what we need for the gestation pigs, the sows, the piglets, and it helps get the sows that we just wean, their body condition back to where it needs to be. So that's what we feed is 18% just commercial hog ration, primary soybean meal, and corn.
So explain to the other people us watching this, kind of like something new they're getting into. Explain what a sow is, gestation, all that what that means.
You know, you got sows, gilts, and bulls, and barrows. So, you know, a gilt is a unbred female or a female that hadn't given birth, you know, probably less than a year old. A sow is a pig that is farrowed or given birth. And then you have a boar, which is an intact male pig, and then you have a barrow, which is a cut male pig. That's the different kinds of pigs that I guess you would have as a whole.
So how much does a setup like this cost?
Well, it kind of depends on how many pigs you have. So if you're on a homestead and you're raising 1 or 2 pigs out a year for your family, if you want to do it regeneratively, you know, you would want to use the deep bedding method unless you had the land to, you know, really build multiple pens to rotate them throughout your property. You know, to just build a pen like this, I mean, it's definitely well less than $5,000. Even with the watering system that we got hooked up, all we do is, for the piglets at least, we just got a float valve in here. You can get that from Tractor Supply. Hose ran to wherever you can run your hoses to, and you know, just a water pan, and then we just built that little frame.
So they don't knock it around and stuff.
So they don't knock it around, and then we screwed it to that tree. But this tree could easily be a 4x4 you know, put in the ground. But definitely less than, you know, $5,000 for sure.
Okay.
A really nice one. You could probably build one for less than $1,000, you know, with makeshift materials that you have laying around.
Okay. Are these pretty friendly when they get older? Will they act like dogs? Because I went to a homestead recently and they had 2 pigs, and they wanted to act they were acting like dogs.
Oh yeah, they'll get pretty friendly if you come out and you mess with them and you're around them a lot. But we kind of got so many pigs, it's hard to give each one that individual attention. You know?
Oh yeah. What So I see that you cut the trees down right here, and then over here it's all forested. You just doing that so they have shade, so they go down.
The whole everywhere we'll do this. So all the pens will come through. Like these are sweet gum trees. So any of the trees that we don't find value in. So like the sweet gums, that tulip tree or poplar, you know, in anything like that, we'll cut down about this height. And I started doing it this height so that when I came in here, I didn't trip over the stumps. So this made sense. But the whole reason that we wanted to do this was to allow sunlight to get down to the you know, forest floor here,
So it can
and
start
then
growing
that way
grass.
vegetation, you know, can come up through here, and that's so that there's probably a foot of mulch and hay down right here.
Oh, that you laid yourself?
Yeah, at least. I mean, you could dig down here for quite some time, and you're just going to hit straw, hay, more mulch, and you know, that's it. And so all that will compost down into the soil, and then, you know, we come in here with a tractor and scrape all that out, and it leaves a lot of good stuff on the ground.
So when you breed a pig, what is like, kind of what's the operation? What you gotta separate them, I assume?
No, so we have them just in their sow groups. So we got probably 6 to 10 sows in each group that is rotated through the woods, and we just rotate the boar within the sow groups as needed. So we try to farrow only in the spring and fall, during the best times of year. So when it's not super hot and when it's not super cold. That's when we try to get them to farrow, when it's not super hot and it's not super cold. And then sows farrow twice a year, so we try to rotate the boars through the sow groups to get them to farrow at that time.
So what's the biggest way you've lost animals or your pigs? What's the biggest way you've lost pigs? Or
we really don't lose many. They're not like chickens. So, like, you know, chicken, it's like, my lord, every time you go out, you got a lot of them. You know, every time you go out, one of them's dead. You know, with the pigs, that's not really, you know, the predators are minimal.
parasites?
Parasites. If the sows, we don't even really worm. I don't remember the last time I wormed a big pig, like over 200 pounds.
Oh wow.
It's just sometimes we'll see the need to worm them. Especially if they're about to farrow, you know, you want to worm them, you know, a couple weeks before they farrow. That way the piglets don't get the worms. But mainly the only pigs that we worm are, for, you know, parasites wise, are the babies whenever we wean them.
Okay.
We'll give them a shot of ivermectin.
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 How's that? It's just a quick shot, or?
Yeah, so it's a shot right behind the ear, and there's a soft spot, so it's a subcutaneous shot, right under the skin, and you give it right behind the ear.
And you have to have a vet come out here and do that, or you could do that?
Yeah, I mean, we do it. You can get it at Tractor Supply.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so you can get it at Tractor Supply. I use a 22 gauge 3/4 inch needle for it. The what it says on the bottle is 1 cc per 75 pounds body weight. Usually the piglets, when we wean them, are like 40 pounds. So I just give them 1 cc, period. And I've been doing that for several years, and I've not had any issues with it. I have had it go the other way, but, you know, if you try to be like, you know, calculate, okay, this pig's 40 pounds, it says 75, you know, they're 30 pounds, I'm gonna get half a cc. No, because you lose some in the needle, and then that's such a small amount, it just doesn't, and so they didn't get wormed, and they end up getting wormed.
Oh wow. What do the worms look like?
There are all kinds of different kinds of worms that you get. The most frequent ones I've seen is roundworms.
Roundworms? And you can see that in their poop?
Yeah.
Or
there's a big white worm.
Tapeworms? Or?
I've never had those.
Huh.
Just roundworms.
Wow.
But you get that ivermectin, you know, in the event that you see that, you know, it'll clear it right up. It's fairly common.
Okay.
But we haven't had any worms or issues, anything like that, in a long time.
Another cute boob. Mama's like, I'm tired. So how long until you move them off their mom?
It kind of depends. We try to wean off weight rather than age, so we try to get them to at least 30 pounds before we wean them if we can. So we usually will hit that at 6 weeks.
Okay.
They'll almost all be 30 pounds at about 6 weeks. That's what it has been lately. But maybe it takes 8 weeks, and some of them are 35 pounds to get the others to 30. It's just kind of we look at it and gauge off the piglet's health and stuff. It looks like we could wean, and then you'll start to be able to see whenever they're getting close to being ready to wean, the mamas are starting to kind of flick them off them. Hey, I'm tired of this nursing stuff. Y'all need to move on.
I guarantee she lays like this all day. They just go crazy. Because pigs can eat.
Oh, they can. They can for sure. And then these guys, they'll get supplemented grain too.
Oh, okay.
So they'll go out and eat grain as well.
Is it like a pig starter, or is it
just that 18% sow and piglet feed?
Okay.
The same one the mama eats.
Almost like, get away. Okay, so tell me about these ones.
So this is one of the groups. There's some gilts and sows in here. The boar's in with these now. So these will all farrow, I guess about the September time frame or so.
How can you tell the boars from the females? Their balls, or that's it?
Just look at them.
Okay.
It's hard to miss. If we can find a boar, it's pretty clear.
So you were telling me about how people try getting into breeding pigs and how a lot of them fail and stuff.
Yeah.
Could you go I guess back into that and?
Sure. So, a lot of people come and they want to kind of start their own farrowing operation, get 2 gilts and a boar, and or 3 gilts and a boar, something like that, and say, we're going to farrow our own pig. We're going to keep the ones we want, and then we're going to sell the rest of them. And it's tough to do both. It's tough to grow out pigs and farrow pigs on a small homestead just because of the infrastructure requirements. And then also, there's a lot of things that can happen, within the pig farrowing and stuff. If this goes wrong or that goes wrong, or maybe for whatever reason, they have a small litter, let's say, so you got 2 gilts, one of them farrows 4 piglets, and the other has 6 or something like that, small litter. It's like, well, you've been feeding these pigs all year long, and those piglets just cost you $200 a piece or something crazy. Here, we kind of are able to, we have over 20 sows, and so if one of them has 4 piglets or something, we can kind of offset our risk. And talking about local community, I'm not deterring people from doing it, but this is something where this is kind of all we do is farrow piglets. And so I have no problem working with all the local homesteads and everybody and supplying them piglets. That kind of sounds like I'm trying to convince people not to do it because I want them to buy piglets from me. It's just it's
cheaper. It's the cheaper route.
Potentially, it's less risky.
That makes sense.
It's less risky because you guys know me. I'm going to be here farrowing the piglets. So as far as not dependent upon the broader society, just be dependent upon me.
Yeah.
I know you want to become self-sufficient and everything, but
I think a lot of people are also in this weird mindset that they have to do everything themselves in these homesteads. Yeah. That's not true. Homesteading, you learn people with certain skills. You learn your own skills. You help them out. You help them out, each other out, and because you might not be a good dairy farmer, but someone that sells good cow milk.
Yeah, we don't do anything but pigs here right now.
Yeah.
So, it's a good opportunity. And I say that because I've had countless numbers of people have come to me. They've gotten a couple gilts and a boar, and then 2 years later, they're, butchering the gilts, selling the boar, butchering the boar, and say, Evan, we just want to get piglets from you. So it's like you had to go through all this financial, downside to figure out that, hey, yeah, this isn't what we thought it was going to be.
And
that same story I've heard, like I said, countless times. So.
And you said the biggest way you lost piglets was to crushing. That's probably
that's probably the biggest way that it's the only way I think that we lose piglets, other than one coming out real runty and that die within a day or two. The biggest loss that we have is to crushing. But this year, this spring, we farrowed probably close to 200 piglets.
That's crazy.
And we lost like 3 to crushing. Like, it is very minuscule.
Oh, that's good.
And in my opinion, a lot of that has to do with the breed and the instincts of the sows and gilts that we have here. So I've had sows in the past that when they farrow and they go down to nurse their piglets, they just plop down and they'll crush 3 or 4 of them like that. They're small when first couple of days, but all of these, when if we can catch one of them going down to nurse, whenever they go down on their front 2 knees, and then they lay down real slowly. And if they hear any sort of squeal or anything, they pop right back up like that. And I believe that has a lot to do with it, because we farrow just right out here in the woods. Some of them have huts they farrow in, but most of them, we just put out straw and hay, and they farrow in the straw and hay, or they make a nest with the leaves and stuff that they can buy.
Oh wow!
So it's not like we're using farrowing crates or anything. What you see here is what they farrow in.
That's what they get.
Yeah, that's what they get. So this is the feed bin that we have. The truck comes here about once a month or so and delivers us a few ton of feed. I kind of call them as needed. Throughout the year it changes. Obviously when we're farrowing, we're burning through a lot more feed than what we are, now, and we don't have all that many sows lactating or anything. So truck comes here, about once a month, fills it up for us. It was road legal back when I first bought it. See, the lights are missing.
The pigs eat them?
No, that was from the horses kicked it. A lot of people come out and they're like, man, I'm going to get one of those. But it kind of comes down to, how much feed you're using and whether it makes sense for you to buy one of these and then take on the depreciation every year as an expense or something. Because if you got 2 pigs, it might not make sense to get something like this. Maybe. You just got to kind of know your numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing was like, I had it delivered, I think it was like $6,000 or something, with the delivery and stuff. So, like, my first year, it saved me like $6,000.
Oh, wow.
But, I mean, we were feeding so much feed, it was so much cheaper to get it in bulk like that, than to buy it in individual bags at the store, to where maybe for somebody with 2 pigs, you could buy it in semi-bulk, like in a 2-ton tote bag or something, and store it up under the barn and get 5-gallon buckets of feed out of that.
Yeah.
That way, you don't have to spend, this much money to buy something like this.
Well, I mean, any other really weird problems with these, or?
No, this has been great. C&B Outdoors.
Okay.
Farming Outdoors there in Georgia. Probably a lot of people seen their ads on Facebook. I like them. It's on wheels. I can move it around, pull it around wherever I want. I mean, it was up there a couple months ago. Wherever, generally speaking, most of the sow groups are at, that's kind of where I pull it to.
Okay. You just fill it up, dump a bucket out for them, and
5-gallon buckets, I carry them, and,
full-time job.
2 hands and walk wherever the pigs are.
So this is your traditional setup?
Yeah, generally speaking, like I said, some of them, they'll have huts, wood huts with a metal roof on it that we'll move around that they can farrow in, or, we'll just take a tarp and put it over, we'll put a bale of straw or hay down and take the tarp and put it over that, and that's kind of what they use for their nest and what they'll farrow in. Occasionally, you'll get a sow, not occasionally, probably one in every group. You'll get a sow that wants to tear the tarp up to make a nest, and which saw this one got all torn up. And if that happens, we'll just kind of raise the tarp up, make it a little higher to where they can't really reach it, and that seems to fix the problem. But it's just difficult. We don't have a big tractor to move around the portable huts and shelters, so this is what works for us, and it works for the pigs.
How much area do you give each each pig or sowing pig?
It kind of varies as to what we can make happen with the woods and the terrain. So this area is 20 yards by 20 yards, probably something like that. And
Keep his feet away.
and then if we had, there was 3 sows in here 2 months ago, so kind of goes by what we're able to put in here based off of what kind of pen we can build with the terrain, and then how many pigs we want to put in there. You'll see the next 2 pens, they're significantly larger.
I heard that if pigs get stressed, they'll eat their piglets. Is that true?
I've had them eat the piglets one time.
Really? Well, why did they do that? Just randomly?
Years ago, I think it was a nutrition thing. When I first started, I was trying to feed like this super cheap feed. It just wasn't real good, high quality. And I think that's why they might have done it.
Huh.
But I had that happen that was 5 years ago probably, but I haven't had anything like that happen since. And then we've done a lot of trial and error over the years. This is definitely the best way to do it. The pigs are happiest this way. The piglets grow the best this way.
Okay.
So this is one of the sections of woods where we just moved the sows out of. You can see they kind of come through and clear out a lot of the understory. And our property line's not too far into the woods, so we can't really expand very far back yet. But if you kind of look back in there, it's super thick.
Yeah.
It's really thick back in there. So thick almost where you can't really walk through it. But now you can see this is pretty easy to walk through. And then what we'll do is come in here with a chainsaw, take out a lot of the, trees that we don't find value in, like the sweet gums or the small saplings, stuff like that. We'll leave the oak trees and things like that, but it'll clear all this out nice. Sunlight will come down, hit the forest floor, vegetation will grow, grasses and stuff, and you'll easily be able to drive the tractor through here, much less walk.
Why didn't you guys find value in sweet gum trees and stuff like that? I've heard you say that a couple of times. What's your reasoning?
They shade a lot of the forest floor out, and they don't do anything for the pigs. They don't drop acorns or anything like that. They provide shade, but that's about the extent of their benefit. I don't know of any other benefit than that for the pigs. Because our goal is to get grasses growing down here to create silvopastures, and we can't do that if it's this shaded in here.
Okay.
So you can see where we were just at is much more open than this here, which is relatively thick compared to that now. The pigs, we just moved into here probably about a week ago, and so they're kind of going through and kind of taking care of the understory, and it'll take them some time to go through and take it down. Here they come. They're back. There they come. Here, pig! Here, pig!
If you like content like this, subscribe and like and comment. Those things really boost the channel. I go around exploring different homesteads. Go down and support this guy. We need to be supporting more local people in our areas, and find him on Facebook. He's located in South Carolina, and you can order a bunch of pigs from him.